Welcome to the Kickstart Your Edge Play to Win Leadership Podcast,
where we've flipped the script with our groundbreaking modus operandi to bring you real, relevant, and relatable tactics and techniques to master your own play to win mindset.
Talk about a superpower. It's time to iron your cape.
What we know for sure is what got you here won't get you there.
You can't see the spinach in your own teeth.
And finally, hang on, because this one is really deep. Once you realize that you are the traffic, everything makes complete and unadulterated sense.
Welcome to The Edge, where playing not to lose is not an option. We must not be defeated. We have to have success. I know, Karen, you're probably wondering what that is all about. It's so interesting talking about episodes of around success. That is an old cheer. Some of you may not know that I was a hockey cheerleader in high school. And it's interesting when you think about you must not be defeated, we want to have success. Is being defeated the opposite of having success? And it's so interesting how being defeated can be such a mind game, especially when it comes to comparison with other people.
I was wondering if you were going to break out any pom-poms.
Not maybe at the end. Stay tuned and find out. But let's talk about your recent client that you had.
So this is funny. So I was talking, and so here's the great part about Jen and I and why sometimes we make such a great team. Right, what I just said. But I have coaching experiences, and I talk to people on a regular basis. And then Jen is able to pull them out and say, oh, great, let's do a podcast on this, or let's do a podcast on that. So the good part about this is she's going to probably fill in more blanks on this whole thing than I actually am. But I was coaching a guy, and he was talking about where he was in his life and that he didn't feel successful. And I asked him about why he didn't feel successful, because he's a really solid guy. And he's gone through a bunch of processes, and he's done a lot of work on himself. And I was really, really curious about why he didn't feel successful. And the reason we didn't feel successful was because he wasn't at the same place that his peers were at. And it really, really had him being really bummed out.
Yeah, and that's interesting, right? So all of a sudden there is the comparison factor that comes in, right? So where am I? Where are other people? And what does that actually say about me if I look at that gap?
Yeah, big time. And the really cool part about this is, I've been talking to this guy for a really long time. And every single thing that he's done up until now has really set him up to be exactly where he was, because we had talked about, taking these steps and doing these actions and what his mindset is around different things and being really conscious about the decisions that he's making. So what we really did was we kind of did like a little bit of a backtrack. Like, okay, great. Let's rewind this a little bit and let's talk through some of the decisions that you made that got you to where you are right now.
Yeah, and really evaluating, what are the choices? What did you decide? Why did you decide that? What drove that action? What drove that choice? How'd you feel about that choice when you were actually doing it?
And you know what, too, Jen, it was so much about during those discussions where how were they connected to who he is and what he valued. And making so many of his decisions were really based on his own true north, about where he wanted to be, about where he was going. And the fun part about it actually was him not doing the things that everybody else was doing. And it was really interesting to kind of show him that, okay, well, wait a minute. Remember, you didn't want to do this because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, and it's about the individual choices that goes into an individual experience. And, doing the in hindsight, not from a comparative place of your peers, but where you are today and your pathway to get there. How successful do you feel that you navigated it? And from what you said, Karen, it was a true game changer when we realize that we can only measure success within ourselves.
And that's it. That's spot on, right? Because his friends, they weren't necessarily happy. They weren't necessarily, bouncing off the walls and really, I don't know, so conscious about their own purpose, but they were just at a different level, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. And I think that goes with a little bit of society's expectations of what level people should be at different stages in their life, right? But it's really about how do you craft your own experience, knowing who you are, what's important to you, what your values are, and why you're choosing the things that you're choosing. And as long as you like those reasons, then you're on the pathway to success.
And the funny thing is, by the time we were getting off the phone, I had asked him, I'm like, okay, so how are you feeling right now? He's like, I made some really smart decisions. And although I'm not at this place, career-wise right now, I still really feel really solid that I did what I did because I was really in alignment with who I wanted to be.
And that, my friends, nails all of it. Right? So as you look at your definition of success, how you feel about your own success, it needs to come from an internal place that regardless of what's happening outside of you, that you can own it and understand that it's truly in alignment with who you are and who you want to be in this world.
Yeah, big time. And you know what? One of the big things too, Jen, just a whole part of it is just that right there eliminates so much stress from people's lives when they are who they want to be.
Yeah. Well, at that note, I'm going to go find my pom-poms, like I said, and I'll
shake it.
I'll shake it and show you the whole kit and caboodle when it comes to being defeated and having success.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Kickstart Your Edge Play to Win Leadership Podcast.
Craving more? Of course you are.
Check out our website at kickstartyouredge.com,
where we fire you up, fan the flames of your competitive edge culture, and ignite your tenacious pursuit of an all-out play-to-win mindset.